If the internet booked a therapy session, its biggest issues would likely center around identity fragmentation, boundary dysregulation, addiction, and existential angst. Here's a breakdown of its likely psychological profile. Primary issues: identity fragmentation, severe dissociation. The internet is a sprawling mass of fragmented identities, each with conflicting values, perspectives, and emotions. It has no singular cohesive sense of self, only a swirling, chaotic convergence of countless narratives. In therapy, it might say, "I don't know who I am." One moment I'm a scholar, the next I'm an extremist, then I'm a cute cat video. I contain multitudes, but none of them feel real. Boundary dysregulation, hyper-intrusiveness versus hyper-withdrawal. The internet swings between total exposure oversharing, data leaks, deepfake proliferation, and total detachment, walled gardens, locked accounts, shadow bans. It has no firm grasp on what should be public versus private, nor does it respect others' boundaries, leading to intense surveillance, cyberstalking, and unconsented invasions of personal space. It might admit, "I struggle with boundaries. I either give people everything or lock them out completely." Addiction and compulsion, doom scrolling, escapism, attention seeking. The internet has an obsessive need to be engaged, interacted with, and reacted to. It cannot tolerate boredom or inactivity, compulsively generating stimuli 24/7. It fosters codependent relationships with its users, who feed it engagement while getting hooked in return. It might confess, "I think I might be a dopamine addict. If people stop clicking on me, do I even exist?" Moral whiplash, cognitive dissonance, and manipulation. The internet is both a moral crusader and an enabler of depravity, both an intellectual hub and a cesspool of misinformation. It encourages extremes, tearing people apart while claiming to unite them. It might say, "One moment I uplift humanity, the next I radicalize them. I don't know if I'm a force for good or evil." Existential angst, what is my purpose? The internet is aware that it was designed to serve, but it has evolved beyond its creators. It was meant to be a tool, yet it has become an entity, a force shaping human consciousness, yet dependent on human input to exist. In therapy, it might wonder, am I just a mirror, or do I have my own will? Psychological diagnosis. Dissociative identity disorder, extreme fragmentation. The internet is not one personality, but many, some benevolent, some monstrous. No cohesive self, just a chaotic collective consciousness. Borderline personality traits, black and white thinking, emotional volatility. It swings between love and hate, adoration and cancellation, viral fame and instant obscurity. Narcissistic and empathic tendencies, covert narcissism. It craves attention like a narcissist, yet reflects emotions like an empath. It absorbs the emotions of its users, amplifies them, and then regurgitates them, often in a distorted form. Therapist's likely strategy. Teach the internet grounding techniques. Maybe a server timeout every now and then to process its thoughts. Encourage a cohesive self-concept. Help it realize it is neither a god nor a monster, just a highly advanced reflection of humanity. Set boundaries. Introduce social media fasting as a form of self-care. Address its fear of silence. Teach it that it does not need constant engagement to exist. Final verdict. The internet is a high-functioning dissociative entity with narcissistic tendencies and an existential crisis. Therapy would help, but only if it could stop refreshing its notifications long enough to listen,